वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्म सदा रक्षाय गुरुपुत्र परित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्ड खण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढवुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि।
Thank you, Megha, for such a beautiful Ganesh Vandana. Good morning, everyone. I, Atharva Tidke, student head of Symfinity, on behalf of Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Institutions Innovation Council, and the entire team welcome you all for the first day of National Changemakers Conclave, Symfinity. Under the dynamic leadership of our principal, Dr. Rishikesh Soman, at Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, we are committed to become a center of excellence in developing global competencies through knowledge creation and dissemination, character building, and social commitment. Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship personifies this commitment by fostering an entrepreneurial and intrapreneurial ecosystem in the college for the students. Through innumerable activities, the center has created a vibrant platform for experiential learning. It guides students to identify the business opportunities and encourages students to build their own startups. The center is a beneficiary of RUSA grant received by the college for endeavor to host entrepreneurs from diverse profiles to share their experiences and inspire our students. Today's trying times, such as climate change and health and social problems, requires entrepreneurs to be a change maker. With the intent, the center has organized Symfinity, the National Changemakers Conclave, with the theme Entrepreneurs Enabling Change. The environment around us enables the science and miracle we call life. Right down to the bees we hear buzzing around us, to the dauntingly tall buildings we live in. Every single thing has a role in building a better community, and it will sustain and it will grow if we collect our hands and step up. We all should brace for the impact and be grateful as there are many gems in the world who have already stepped up on the path of creating a revolution for a sustainable, green, and clean community through entrepreneurship enabling change. Symfinity is bringing to you the most significant pioneers of the path of change making and the beacon of hope in a trying time. hosting distinguished personalities at the forefront of social change in India, join us for the conclave. On behalf of our college, I once again welcome our esteemed guests who are extraordinary individuals on a mission to make this world a better place through their businesses. I warmly welcome our teachers and all the attendees across India for this two-day national level changemaker conclave. Now, I would request and welcome our Vice Principal, Dr. Tessie Thadatil, to give the welcome address of the conclave.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Good morning to all our esteemed guests, Dr. Sharayu Bakri and her team, faculty, and dear students. So your day has finally arrived for the National Conclave, and the team has been working around the clock to put it together. We've been seeing you hurrying, scurrying, getting things together. At the back of our mind, we all know that the world needs a lot of change. We need mechanisms in place for social and environmental change. And this two-day conclave, I'm sure, will give a glimpse of what is possible with faith, determination, empathy, and hard work. Honestly, to say that we are extremely happy that our speakers have accepted our invitation is an understatement. Sharayu ma'am had told me about the lineup of speakers. I thought I would read up a little about our speakers and their work. And trust me, even reading up about them and their work was quite emotional. Mr. Shishir Thakur being instrumental in saving so many billions of liters of water. He's there here with us today. Mr. Abhijit Jejurikar, we read about his empowering Dharavi kids with the music project. Mr. Chet Jain, crowdfunding for SMEs. And Ms. Kunjpreet Arora having her numerous sustainability projects. So inspiring, all of them. And four more dynamic personalities lined up for tomorrow. Dear experts, resource persons of this conclave, each one of you are here to share your journey with us. We all join in applauding your success. We want to hear, we want to learn, we want to understand your challenges, your obstacles, and celebrate them, because that's where the maximum learning takes place. And that's where the maximum opportunity for making a difference exists. And we want to join you in your journey and take a vow against being detached, insensitive, and inactive. As the brochure says, the youngsters of today are the leaders of tomorrow. They want to be there. They want to make that social change, making a better world. Organizing this conclave is a step in that direction. This, I feel, is a massive lineup of great personalities, and I want to sincerely congratulate Sharayu ma'am and team. I feel so privileged to welcome all of you, and I feel sad Soman sir is not here. He's a very dynamic leader, and on his behalf, I want to say to Sharayu ma'am and team, very well done, and what an important session this is going to be. Bless you for all your good work, work that is much needed by society, and I declare this conclave open. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for your ever encouraging support. So, before we begin the conclave, there is a short ceremony for the release of the research journal, Emerge. I would like to invite our mentor, Dr. Sharayu Bhakre, who is the head of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, convener of Institutions Innovation Council, and professor in charge and head of this conclave, and also the editor of this research publication, to give an overview. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Atharva. It is indeed a moment of pride for me and my co-editor of Emerge, Mrs. Sarika Wagh, to present the first issue of Emerge, the research journal published by the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship of our college. India is a nation of young minds who have the potential to create a better future for India. Promotion of innovation through entrepreneurship development can provide the needed impetus to the development journey of the country. At the present pandemic progresses, we as academicians, facilitators, guides and teachers have upon us the greater responsibility to enable our students not only to sustain these difficult times, but to embrace the new normal, creating opportunities for themselves and for others. With the intention of developing research mindset and instilling the value to adapt and innovate in the new normal, we conducted an intercollegiate research competition and invited research papers on the theme Managing Innovation and Entrepreneurship in the New Normal in 2021. We strongly believe that it is with the application of creative mindset and the ability to bring critical view to the situation that the students can develop research attitude. Therefore, it is important to provide students with opportunities to undertake research. Efforts such as this publication space provided to the students aims to nurture the culture of research and thereby enrich entrepreneurship. We take this opportunity to thank our leader and motivator, Principal Dr. Soman, Vice Principal Dr. Tessie Thadatil, the members of the review committee, Dr. Jyoti Gopte, Professor Ravindra Kothaude, and Dr. Neelam Yadava, RUSA for funding, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Anila Dagre, our college librarian, Mrs. Vaishali Vaidya, who has done the plagiarism test of all the papers, not once, but twice, the editorial team and the enthusiastic student team behind this publication. Sincere acknowledgement of Jaire sir of Gayatri Graphics for giving a beautiful form to this journal. For those interested in the e-copy, this journal can be accessed from our college website. I would now like to invite Mrs. Sarika Wag, my co-editor, to share in detail the process of this publication. Over to you, Sarika.
Thank you, Sharayu ma'am. We feel immensely happy to share that we received an overwhelming response for the competition that was organized specially for the undergraduate and postgraduate students of all streams. The papers received underwent initial screening by the review committee, and the selected papers were then presented at the competition, which was adjudged by the team of our judges. Out of the papers received, 15 papers were selected for publication. The papers published cover wide areas under the theme ranging from challenges and opportunities for entrepreneurship in the new normal to consumer information behavior and entrepreneurs in the new normal. The papers have also been through a plagiarism check. The selected research papers are now being published in this research publication titled Emerge Volume 1 with an ISBN number. I now request Dr. Tessie Thadatil to kindly declare the release of the journal.
I declare the Student Research Journal Emerge as published.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Tessie, ma'am. The e-copy of the journal will be available on the college website, and a copy of the same will also be mailed to the authors. I now call upon Gautami Rani, the student coordinator, Symfinity, to welcome and introduce the first speaker. Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good morning to each one of you. I am Gautami Rane, and I cannot express my heartfelt gratitude for your presence today. On that note, remember that no one is a born change maker. It's something you become when you see a problem. Then dare to become a part of the solution. And we are beyond honored to have such change bringers who chose to swim against the tide. Our first speaker for the day is Mr. Shishir Thakur. He is an alumnus of Symbiosis International University and co-founder and CTO of Cranberry Analytics, which created data analysis platforms and algorithms which are currently being used in government, semi-government, and large infrastructure organizations. Through his work, Sir has been able to save more than 150 billion liters of water in recent years. His work has our loudest applause and our sincere appreciation. We would now like to play a short clip and take you all through his journey. We welcome you, sir. Thank you, and may I now request you to address our attendees.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. Like ma'am mentioned, this is really a great platform for all the students who are involved, and I really appreciate the efforts that you guys are taking as students and also as the organizers, because these are exactly the kind of initiatives that are needed in college so that we can foster that kind of change maker or entrepreneurship kind of spirit in the students. And whatever I've done, I'm always ready to share this. I'm obviously more inclined to share this here anytime because I'm alumni of this college, but otherwise also everybody who is interested in these things are always welcome to pick my brain, and these kind of initiatives do not seem very easy at first, and I can understand the hesitation that students sometimes have, that dealing with the government and dealing with the kind of projects which involve such huge impact. It may seem intimidating at first, but I'm here to tell you that it's not. And we just have to take one step after another. So I'll just start with my journey. I have a presentation, so I'll just share the screen. Just a second. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. Yeah.
Okay. So we started Cranberry Analytics in 2011. I completed my graduation from Symbiosis Institute of Computer Studies and Research in 2008. Right after my graduation, I went to work for a company for 1 year. It was a finance company, and after working for 1 year, I realized that it would be my time would be better utilized doing something that is making more impact on the city that I'm living in, or the country that we are living in. So we were scouting for opportunities. I started this company with a few of my friends, Amit Deshmukh and Onkar Goridhar, and we were looking for opportunities so that we can leverage maximum impact of what we already knew. And since I have graduated from Symbiosis, and I have been a keen techie since last decades almost, I realized that if we started our initiatives in the area where technology can be leveraged to solve something which is bothering most of the citizens, that would be something that I'll be really enthusiastic working on. And this opportunity came to us because we were working with Asian Development Bank and World Bank for some time on smaller projects than this, but they were also pretty engaging, and they were generally related with governments and citizens. We were working with the Asian Development Bank in Kadur and Birur and Davangere region in Karnataka. Uh, while working there, we realized that water is a major issue for majority of the country, and this is a realization that we keep, getting this information from media that we are amidst a water crisis. Still, somehow it doesn't sink in really, because most of the privileged people who live in this country, they don't really face that many issue in terms of water compared to the underprivileged people who live in the same cities where we live and the kind of problems that these guys have to face. The difference is so drastic that living in their shoes for a few months changed our complete mindset and made us realize how thankful we are having what we have, and really motivated us to do something that would help them. We started looking at opportunities presented by our own city. So I was living in Chinchwad at that time. Uh, Pimplanilak and Chinchwad and these kind of areas come under PCMC in Pune. So in Pune, there are two municipal corporations. One is PMC, Pune Municipal Corporation. One is PCMC, Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation. These two are twin cities, and PCMC has a population of around 25 lakh people. We approached PCMC for a sort of a reconnaissance purpose that we needed to understand the problems that they were facing at present. And this is maybe a point that would be very interesting for the people who want to start their entrepreneurship journey. Most of the time, uh, the data that is given to us by media or any other mode of communication, magazines, TV, uh, we tend to realize and solve the problems which are which seem very interesting or which seem very uh, challenging in terms of technology. This is especially uh, from the perspective of people who are in tech sector. Although there are many low-hanging fruits right here in this country which need solutions, and we just don't know about them because we haven't been exposed to those environments. At least this was the situation in my case. Uh, all of us have battled with government websites, whether it's something related to travel or something like if you want to file your taxes or provident fund or anything, any kind of government website, if you go and you have to do something, uh, we always feel that they are not as seamless as something else that you constantly use, let's say Facebook, Instagram, or these kind of websites. Why is it so? Like, why government, with its vast resources and so many developers and teams and data centers, is not able to execute projects with such seamlessness the way other private companies are doing that? Also considering the fact that most of the IT industry used by these companies like Facebook, Instagram, Google, all of those developers sit right here in Pune itself, or Bangalore probably, or Hyderabad. And then why is it that our governments are not able to leverage all that human resource and all that knowledge and become better at doing things technologically? This was a question we had, and that is where we saw a gap. Uh, Once we approached governments and once we talked to them, we realized that the biggest problem that these guys have, they want to invite uh, people who will change these things for them, but the kind of efforts that are needed to do that are not just technological, they are policy level efforts. And they are not looking for just tech solutions, they're always looking for solutions which will also impact the policy, which was another area of interest for me. Uh, when we saw that the biggest problems that PCMC was facing in 2000, I think at the end of 2010, beginning of 11, was issues with water billing. We researched the problem by approaching them, just asking to contribute anything from our side. We were all young, 25 years old or so, and we didn't really have a lot on our plate either. Uh, they accepted the help and they just deployed us in their ward offices alongside their meter inspectors. Just a second. So, yeah. Once we, Sagnik, just a second. I'll control the presentation, not an issue. So, once we reached the municipal corporation and they told us about these issues that they were facing, we researched that problem for a while and we presented them with a technological solution that this is a software that if you deploy, it will solve most of your issues. Commissioner of the city obviously was of the opinion that we cannot deploy this software. The reason being we are not getting any data from the field operations. Our meter inspectors are not going to the field. Our mm, meters are not available most of the times, and the lack of visibility is causing these problems to happen. Once we realized this issue, then the problem was clear to us that this is not just a technological challenge. This is majority of the challenge is coming from the lack of envisioning the solution, and the breadth of the solution was so huge uh, that it's actually pretty complicated to solve this issue. It becomes very easy for us as citizens to say that the government is not working on this or that. But once we get into it and once we start facing those challenges ourselves as people who have to solve that problem, it becomes abundantly clear why those problems are not being solved. Yes, there is corruption. Yes, there is a lot of lack of willingness to solve these problems. But even when a team in government offices tries to coordinate when they want to solve a certain issue, it is very challenging because any step in any direction has huge impact. So uh, the kind of solution that we provided was not just technology. This solution worked because we filled all the gaps which were needed here. Yes, a huge component of the solution is technology, softwares, data analysis, charts, graphs, dashboards. Yes, that is there. But the another big and pretty significant component here is getting all that data in a very effective manner uh, with precision from the field operations, which was completely coordinated by my partner Amit Deshmukh. So the moment we realized what the problem was, he immediately started working on the field operation, coordination of the field operation. I immediately started working on a software solution, which is which are our core competency areas. Then we presented that solution again. Uh, Another sort of a suggestion or learning from this part, which may be useful for a lot of students, uh, patience. A huge amount of patience were needed to do that because we were doing this without getting paid for almost 2 years. The day we realized what the problem was, and from that day, solving that issue, like coming up with a solution for that issue, and then developing that solution, presenting it to the commissioner and other head of departments, that took probably just 3-4 months, 6 months at max. Rest of the 1.5 year went into the red tape that government has. Talking to a lot of people who do not want this solution to be implemented. Talking to a lot of people who don't believe in us or our solution because it was a very small company at that time. Convincing a lot of people who thought that this could work, but they were not willing to invest that much effort or resources in it. That took us almost 1.5 year. Eventually, when we were allowed to do that, they gave us a very small part of the city and asked us to implement the solution there. I'll take you through a few things which will give you. This is us now being covered by a lot of media organizations like Smart Business Word, Times of India, Water Word, Financial Express, Your Story. There are a lot of other publications which have covered us, but uh, yeah. So this is the part which is probably interesting for some of you. Uh, the kind of analytics that we provide, governments, demand and recovery solution, one single dashboard for all the uh, data that is coming from field, from their meter inspectors, from their reservoirs, from their meters, non-revenue water analysis, breakdown of it, forecasting. So using machine learning to forecast events which have not happened yet and which might happen in future, season-wise breakdown. So I'm just taking this at a rapid pace because I feel like this is not the right audience for this. I'll come back to the story part again. So this project is still ongoing, and if I have to sort of condense the outcome of this project, these are the outcomes. Uh, there is like 92% reduction in water theft. There were a lot of non-metered connection. Also, to give a context to these problems, I'll have to give a small background of why these problems are there still in 2022. Uh, it's very easy to bill consumers according to their electricity consumption. It's not that easy to do that for water. Because when you enter somebody's premises and you have to take their meter reading for electric meter, generally these meters are all well situated in a very clean and dry area of the building. You just have to go there, take the meter picture and move on. Not the case in water meters. Water meters are very easily tamperable. Anybody who has a spanner can just open it up, put it aside for some time, and that solves the issue of high consumption. So if you have a wedding for 4 days in your house and you don't want to pay the bill because you're going to consume a lot of water, people just, open the water meter up, put it aside, join the pipe directly and get on with their wedding. You will do that. Some people reverse the water meter so that some of the readings are reversed. A lot of people have unauthorized connections where you'll see the water meter right outside the house, but they'll have some other line coming in from the backside of the house, which is not metered. That brings us to the next question: why do we need to meter people on water, and why do we need to bill people on water? So it's not a revenue thing. Uh, Government can provide all this water for free also. That is not the point of importance here. The issue is that until and unless it is metered, people do not consume water that judiciously as they would other when it's metered. When they know that that there is a meter which is turning with the readings are being added every time you are wasting water, people tend to consume less water. This used to be a dispute in scientific community till very recently. London has done a huge research where there was a portion of the scientific community which denied this happening, that there is no evidence which says that when you bill people properly, they consume less water. They did this experiment on their citizens and the study was inconclusive. While at the same time, without any research resources, I can tell you, Sakni, can you provide me the control of the cursor? I have it, yeah. See, look at this graph. So you'll see that when we started our efforts, it was in 2013. So it was December 2012, so almost 2013. Within a period of 2 years, there is a marked reduction in consumption of water. And the above line, the orange line that you see, that was the consumption which was predicted by the specialists uh, in water sector, that this is going to be the trend which TCMC will follow in terms of water consumption. While the day we started our efforts, approximately here, it took us a year or so to bring down the reduction to this level. And then now, even when it is continuing, it is at a reduced pace. Uh, at a like people are consuming this much less water. This difference is our achievement. This this should be the actual consumption, but this is the actual consumption. Also, keep in mind that this reduction is being achieved while there is a marked increase in population in those years. So even if we could have kept the consumption constant, that in itself would have been an achievement. That the consumption is still the same while the population is increasing. But what we have achieved is a double victory, that the population is increasing and still the consumption is decreasing because the people are being billed and measured so effectively. This completely removes any doubt from the notion that billing people properly reduces their consumption. This you can see is a linear regression in growth of properties. So there is absolutely no evidence that properties have not been increasing. There's a marked increase in properties. Still, the consumption is decreasing. So coming back to the point, generally most of the municipal corporation, most of the cities, what they do, they want to recover all the money that they spend in getting the water to you. So let's say I have to get the water from dam to a water treatment plant. And then there the filtration process happens, and then the water is distributed to us, the citizens. All this takes humongous amounts of energy and resources. Let's say the city is spending 100 crore rupees per year in this process. Mm, Generally, they want to bill citizens so that they can recover those costs. Although recently, Ministry of Water has stated that even if people are being provided water at zero cost, they're still supposed to be billed properly. The water has to be measured because otherwise we do not know where the gaps are. Also, water conservation, when we look at it as a topic, we generally tend to think that if we start consuming less water in our apartments, in our houses, as again the privileged citizens that we are, like we'll take less time in bath or will install some better functioning taps or something that will reduce the wastage to a significant extent. That is not the case. The biggest wastage of water happens before it reaches your house. That was another key area that we focused on, because the pipes that we have underground, which carry this water around us, most of them are very old and they're very deep. So if they keep seeping water inside, it becomes very hard using just manual methods to find out which pipes are leaking until they burst and you see a huge fountain of water on the road. It becomes very hard to detect where the leakage is. And that is the biggest area where the water is being wasted right now in urban landscape. Another bigger area where the water is being wasted is agriculture industry. Uh, that wastage is way bigger than the urban landscape. So still the whole notion and the whole PR related to water conservation keeps putting this burden on citizens that if you consumed less water, we would not be in this state. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. Although we should still use water judiciously, yes, but that is a very small chunk of all the water that is being wasted. So the biggest problem in urban areas was that if you want to build these people, like if you look at this slide, mm, so uh, so now this is our prediction, I think, for this analysis was done for Mumbai, I guess. So the kind of the resources that we have right now, they are not increasing. They're depleting every year, and the kind of mm, the pattern that the consumption is taking, which is constantly increasing, it is going to intersect here at this point sometime between 2024 and 25, and then there's going to be a deficit which has to be filled by either getting more reservoirs, which is very costly and very hard to achieve, or the distribution of water starts becoming more intermittent, not once a day, then it will become once in 2 days or once in 3 days, and go on till we reach that level where it is balanced with the amount of water that we have at our disposal. Uh, Before all this happens, our idea was that before this whole crisis hits everybody badly, half of the country is still living in that state of crisis. They are not getting fresh water every day. They have to go to a nearby well or some single tap for an entire chawl where they fill their water, which comes probably once a week. And then they have to store that water and use that water till till the next supply comes. In some areas, tankers go from government side and provide water where the pipelines are not there. So half of the country, I would say more than half of the country is already living in this crisis. Rest of the country, most of us who are probably looking at this computer screen right now, do not have that kind of difficulty right now. And that is what I want to point out, that although this is not a problem which is affecting us directly now, this is going to be an issue in everybody's consciousness in 7, 8 years of time. Not more than that, probably less than that. Uh, if anybody is interested, water is going to be the next industry where the biggest bubble is going to happen in terms of business and in terms of opportunities also. Anyway, coming back to the original point, we saw what the problems were. Cities are not able to first install water meters across the entire city, like city municipal corporations. We solved that for them. We coordinated with a lot of water meter manufacturers and got the correct meter installed across the city wherever it was missing, which was more than 50, 60,000 meters. There were a lot of unauthorized connections, so we developed algorithms which will automatically find out how much water is being consumed, or how much water should have been consumed by this house, and what is the difference with the benchmark, and automatically flag those areas. We developed a team of around 75 meter inspectors and supervisors, which were going on field every month to each and every citizen's house. And these guys were capturing water meter readings, meter picture, meter health. They were geotagging each of the consumer. They were geotagging each of these unauthorized consumer, and doing that regularly, repeatedly for at least 2 years. We finally saw that people had more confidence in the system, because now when they came to PCMC to pay their bills, the bills were correct. Otherwise, they were also facing a lot of issues where the bill was incorrect, and there was no system in place to rectify those bills automatically. So we provided another system altogether for automated bill rectifications using a lot of technology, so that the human intervention uh, sort of reduced, human errors reduced, and eventually in 2016 we brought the city to on-spot billing system, where just like credit card fraud analysis, every time a meter is read, a mechanical meter, the moment you take the reading, the device that we have given to a meter inspector automatically flags if there are any issues. If there is any suspicion of water leakage, and if there is any suspicion of water theft, immediately that meter inspector is notified, so that they can take an effort to look into the issue in depth. This is All these things together eventually reduce the water consumption to this level, which is also visible by PCMC's revenue collection. When we started, it was around 17, 18 crores per year. Now it has been around 45 crores since last many years. Uh, this is also because PCMC has not increased their water rates from a very long time. When they do, it should reach around 100 crores because everybody is being billed properly. Even the remote connections, which like people who were living in the areas where they did not even know that water is charged by the uh, uh, government. Even those people are now receiving their water bills, and they are regularly paying their water bills. Uh, we also implemented a whole revenue collection system so that it's easier for citizens to pay their water bills through mobile phone, through online payment, through UPI, net banking, whatever, any digital channel. Uh, we also provided at least 10 people for customer support and customer problem solving so that when these people reach municipal corporation and they really want to physically talk to somebody to gain more understanding of their water bills or they have some issue that can be solved. Uh, this is just the customer facing aspect of this whole thing. Based on all these things and all the reports that we provide to the municipal corporation, uh, there's a lot of efficiency and a lot of improvements which have happened in distribution analytics. So when the person who is in charge of water distribution has to sit and take a call, how much water should be deployed in a certain area, they have more information at their disposal, more dashboards, more analysis, based on which they can improve their distribution. And recently, we have started working with sensors uh, and automated meters. So these sensors provide information to a smart controller, which sends information to our cloud server and which automatically comes to mobile phones and dashboards on tablets or desktops, which allows these engineers to regularly monitor what is happening in terms of water distribution and also regularly monitor if any anomaly is happening and immediately take action before the water is being wasted through that. In addition to that, we have also developed solutions in the field of machine condition monitoring because there are a lot of machines involved in this sector also, in other sectors also, which also follow the same path. So we use vibration sensors on these machines, which automatically send us the vibration pattern of that machine, and then using machine learning we analyze those patterns, and if a machine has a certain pattern which tells us the health of the machine is going to deteriorate in a certain amount of time before it happens, then we immediately notify the owner of that machine that mm, something has to be done with this machine so that you don't take more downtime than you need to. You can probably get it repaired during Sundays without having to shut down your assembly line. Uh, Use acoustic sensors, vibration sensors. Uh, we have also started in water sector. We have started working with a lot of automated smart meters. These are called LoRa meters. They work on LoRa protocol. They send their meter reading automatically to a server, and we are able to analyze information not once a month but once a day, which adds a huge value to the entire analysis to save water. Uh, Also, in this whole process, this has been the side of sort of technology because I'm the technology guy, so I focus more on that. Uh, we have the people that we have employed and skilled in this whole process. When we started, we had hired around 70 people on field. This whole team is made up of very capable, very active females who are all from an underprivileged sector. My partner Amit has brought them up to a level where they are skilled enough to take these mobile devices and these devices on field, understand these issues, talk to the consumer, sort out their problems, regularly use these analysis to make themselves understand how a certain problem should be tackled. And a lot of them were really facing difficulties in their lives due to death of their husband or There is no chief wage earner in their house, or they have children who need to study, and there's not enough resources in their house. And when we see these people develop to a level in terms of skill, confidence, and even financially, uh, they're applying for better colleges. Their children are studying in better colleges. They have better facilities at home. Some of them have bought cars. So that is the biggest sort of victory that we see in doing this thing. Yes, a lot of water is being saved. Yes, government and citizens are happy, but the most significant improvement that we have uh, like done in somebody's life directly, that is our field employees. So that is another area that we should, keep in mind, that when you as an entrepreneur, you start your journey, you solve a certain issue, not just the people who are directly being impacted by that issue are getting a resolution. In the process, you'll have to hire a team which is eventually going to benefit a lot from it. And that is also a thing that business owners or entrepreneurs should keep in mind. Treating them nicely, being uh, a good manager, like the kind of, there is a whole dynamic which is there in the industry. This is how a business should be run, and this is how you squeeze the most profit from your project. But I think that can be changed by being the kind of manager or business owner you are, the kind of changes that you want in the society. Uh, I think I've taken too much time. Sagnik, would you please interrupt if I have to stop? So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful presentation. We did have quite a few questions in terms of water the water management, or when it comes to the complexities we're dealing with the systems that we are in. But I think you just explained it so well in terms of your presentation and like all the details. So our questions are solved. We have our answers now. But I just have one question to you. I mean, when we talk about today's youth, I mean, the attendees that we have today are in their early 20s, right? And do you think that the problems that persist, and most probably the environmental problems, there's always a solution to it? You just have to go find that solution. Maybe it's just that we conveniently, ignore the responsibility that we have. And it's time for us to take up the charge and go out and be there and come up with solutions and actually take some stand on this.
So, what exactly is the question?
So, would you like to address our attendees in terms of what exactly do they have to do and how do they take charge and go about it?
So, like I said, that the first thing is that you look at the bigger problem and then you break it down into smaller issues. So, if you look at the bigger problem, like for example, climate change is happening, and because of that, we are constantly receiving this sort of a feedback from media and from certain agencies that this is going to be for all the human beings which are there on the planet right now. But it seems such a humongous problem that if you want to get out of your house and solve it, it seems almost not doable. It seems like this whole wheel has, gone into that motion which cannot be stopped. We won't know that till we actually do something about it. So I would suggest that if you feel like that, instead of looking at the entire thing as like you have to stop the climate change from happening, which is impossible, you have to break down the problem according to your area of expertise. So whether you are from commerce, art, science, whatever, everybody can pitch in according to their skill level, according to their area of expertise. They just need to find out what exactly do they want to do and the direction they want to focus their efforts in. Like, for example, if I can make a software, I can go start making another Instagram. That is my uh, core area of expertise. But then I have to then here is the conscious decision that we take. So do I want to start another Instagram and make billions of dollars, or do I want to probably use whatever superpower I have in solving some challenge which might be uh, adding small value to this problem, suppose water sector or energy sector, anything. Eventually, all these things coagulate and add to the bigger problem of how to survive better in these changes of climate and geo thermal
I think
activities or
that's
whatever.
that's a very good advice, that we have to start somewhere, and that start, it begins from us apart, just for like waiting for somebody else to do so. So I think, thank you so much, sir. That was a wonderful session, and we can go on to the next speaker for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm very sure that the attendees loved the session, they loved your presentation, and they'll research more about Cranberry Analytics and maybe join you as well at some point. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, Shashir.
In the words of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, music is the universal language of mankind, and our second speaker of the day is the literal human embodiment of that. Mr. Abhijit Chesorikar. He is the founder of Dharavi Reloaded and an alumnus of Symbiosis International University. He has empowered many of those less fortunate to showcase their talents on large, universally accessible platforms. They put up performances using junk percussions in their band and have done more than 500 such shows across India. A professional musician himself, he has transformed his love for music into uplifting the lives of children of Dharavi and continues to mentor and teach kids about music since the last decade. Sir, we're honored to have you with us today and equally curious about your story. So without any further ado, we can go right into the session. But before that, we have a small video clip which will take us through the story of Mr. Abhijit Chesurikar. So we'll have a look at that first.
बच्चे लोग ready? बच्चे लोग ready? बच्चे लोग ready?
Only thing I can teach is music. So I thought, let me create a band with all these kids from Dharavi. And that's when Dharavi Reloaded was born. And I remember that, one quote I really, really relate with is that music can change the world because, it can change people, and that it has stayed with me so far. And what happens is that the music, as you listen to it, it really helps release dopamine in your brain, and it releases happy thoughts. So music is definitely helpful.
We welcome you, sir. And now I would like to hand over the platform to you so that you can address attendees. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today. First of all, I'm very sorry. I'm a little under the weather, so my voice is a little off, kind of snipping. But I wish we could have done this in person. Yeah, this would have been really amazing if we could have done this in some big auditorium with all the students are there, and we can interact with each other and have some fun and play some music. It would have been so cool, right?
We will
And
do it,
thank you,
Abhijit,
Sharayu, ma'am.
someday. We will do it someday.
Absolutely,
We will do it.
absolutely. I would love to be there,
Sure,
but
sure,
because
we will.
just meeting with students and especially from Symbiosis, I just love the fact that you can do it. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to start with my journey. I hope you're able to see the presentation properly. Um, all right. So yeah, my name is Abhijit Jejurikar, and I'm a marketing professional by day and a musician by night. And this is my journey. So I want to tell you one small, incident when my dad gifted me a small Casio keyboard. When I was in my I guess, first or second standard, and I started playing on it. How? Well, not literally. I mean, I used to just hit the demo button and I used to dance to all the tunes and I used to impress everyone. But soon during my school days, I started playing keyboards properly, and I used to participate in all the school gatherings and local cultural festivals, etc. And during my college days, I got a chance to sort of audition for an intercollegiate competition. Right? I didn't get the part to play the keyboard, but I actually got the part to play the tambourine. Why not? I was still happy about it, right? But soon I started playing keyboards and with various rock bands in Pune, and that just changed my perspective altogether. You know, rock music, being on the stage, rocking on the stage. And that phase in life was all about, rock and roll, metal, and hard rock. The bands that I played with also went on to winning competitions in Pune and Mumbai. One of them being the Independence Rock competition, one of the biggest, which used to happen in Mumbai earlier. I soon later got introduced to classical music through my friends. These are some of the photos of my earlier days of the rock band, what's called Vertigo. This is again from my classical days where I got introduced to sort of fusion music. And I remember we used to go to Mumbai to attend Zakir Bhai's concert on Abbaji's Barsi. And, just to see those masters on the stage and creating some magic and connecting with the audience was something else. Later, I got introduced to West African music. There's a band called Tal Inc. in Pune, run by Varun Venkat, who, does some incredible job. So the thing is, West African music is all about bringing everyone together and sort of, creating music and playing music, because every rhythm in West African music has sort of a story, right? These are some of the icons which I got to meet during my journey. I used to go to their concerts and click the photographs and all. As you saw in the video, this is again my favorite quote, that music can change the world because it can change people, right? And I believe that music has that power to sort of change the community as well, because it releases that happy drug. It's called dopamine, which gives happy thoughts in your head. I mean, come on, if you listen to music, obviously your mood changes. Am I right? So yeah, this has been a short journey, but hey guys, have you seen this movie? I wish I was there in person to ask you this. This is my all-time favorite movie called School of Rock. If you have not seen it, I would encourage you to watch it, please. So the plot revolves around, this protagonist, Dewey Finn, who is Jack Black, who after being kicked out of his sort of, rock band, becomes a substitute teacher of an uptight elementary private school, very, very high class private school, only to try and turn them into a rock band. It is so cool, right? What this movie really taught me was obviously how to draw out talents from all the students, how to develop and give confidence in them. Uh, Obviously about teamwork, because they go as a band to this Battle of the Bands competition, and it get them into real world experiences. You have done your schooling, college, blah blah. It's cool, but now you have to be there to face the real world. So this movie really, changed my life, and I hold this movie very dear to my heart. And this somehow relatable to my project as well. I'm going to show you a little clip from this movie.
I think it's on mute.
Just a second, just a second. All right, see this. Are you able to hear this now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Play keyboards? Any techno?
No, I only play piano.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Try this out for me, okay? Just give this a try on my count, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Yes. Come on, come on, come on, come on, now touch me, babe. Ba-da-ba-da, can't you see that I am not afraid? Shaka-ga-ga. Lawrence is good at piano. He shall be rocking in my shoe. Ra-ga-ga-ga. Stop. That's perfect. You're perfect. Stay right there, okay? You, could you come up here, please? What was your name?
Katie.
Katie, what was that thing you were playing today, the big thing?
Cello.
Okay, this is a bass guitar, and it's the exact same thing, but instead of playing like this, you tip it on the side. Cello, you've got a bass. Try it on. Okay, now play this note right here. That's a G. Okay, but let your fingers do the rock and keep that G coming all day long. G, 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 G. Good, stop. Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion. That's because he couldn't play anything else. Shut up.
Okay, give that a try. Okay! All right, okay. Lawrence, give me a G note. And the middle one. No middle one, to below. Now give me some rhythm. Katie, remember that note I taught you, the G? Play, but, give me like a. Good, okay, no, that's bad. That's like George of the Jungle. Play it up here on the cymbal, but really light! Do you remember this thing I taught you a minute ago? It goes like... Yes! Yes! Oh! All right, let's go! Oh! All right, stop. You guys, you got...
Right. So this was really cool how we formed the band in the school. Now coming back to Dharavi, right? So this is obviously a beautiful photo of Mumbai that you see. On this side is all slum area, and that side of high-rise buildings. So this is Dharavi, guys. And this is again one of the pictures of Dharavi. So Dharavi is one of the largest slums in Asia, home to more than 1 million people. One of the biggest recycle hubs. This is very important. 80% of Mumbai's solid waste is recycled and given a new life on everyday basis in Dharavi, right? So, okay, this is cool. What do you do with this? I mean, well, I was doing my 9 to 5 job and in marketing, and music was always missing because I come from a family of Rotary where my dad has been a Rotarian and a district governor, and giving back to the society is very important. So the only thing I'm good at is music. So I thought, let me start teaching music to these amazing kids from Dharavi and create a band called Dharavi Reloaded, where it's a platform to sort of express themselves and showcase their talent by getting them all together and create this amazing bond between the communities. My main thought was that if you take like rich class or middle class people from any background, they have money to send their kids to all sorts of private tuitions, classes, everything, cricket coaching camp. But what about the kids from slums, who don't have access to all these things? They are talented. I mean, I would say they're more talented than these kids. So, I created this platform to sort of give them and showcase their talents on a global level, because I think the background where they come from, I think music is such a powerful tool that it can really bring a change and bring communities together. This is my band, and this was very initially, I'm talking about like 9 years back or something, when we clicked this photo just outside our center over there in Mumbai. I remember meeting kids all for the first time and trying to understand the background and the ideas about music. Initially, obviously, it was very difficult to start with the music classes immediately because first I had to break into their circle. I had to sort of become their brother. to their friend first, and who can actually chill with them, who can actually gain their trust. Because it was my first time experience teaching music to slum kids. It was very important for me to sort of get into their neighborhood and get the respect first, and then started teaching music. So yeah, Dharavi being the largest recycle hubs in Asia, 80% of dry waste is recycled there. That is around 2,500 tons of dry waste is plastic. So I thought, why not create music out of waste material found in Dharavi, such as drum barrels, coffee shakers, paint cans, plastic boxes, everything that you can find, and bringing to the for the concept of recycled use and respect for all. I want to show of these two kids playing music, over there. Yeah. So these are all paint buckets and everything. Plus, I used to call all my friends who used to visit me, and they used to do different kinds of workshops with all these kids where they got exposure towards African music, playing violin, contemporary dance, world music, beatboxing. So it really broadened their perspective in terms of music, and not just sticking to Bollywood. Because it's very important to sort of showcase and tell them what it is and where the music comes from, right? And yeah, it became like more of a Dharavi school of rock, more like a school of rock band. Yeah. So now what now? Yeah. I mean, we have a band. We create music on jump percussions. I felt that we can do definitely rock the stage if we get that opportunity, and if we are ready for it. So we started doing performances and collaborations. By doing that, what really happened was something insane. It really helped all these kids to sort of showcase their talents with real world experiences, right? Creating a magical experience with connecting with your audience, learning about having a great stage presence, getting rid of their stage fear, which is very important, right? And what is it like to interact with the audience, to connect with the audience, to sort of give high five to them and play for them, see the smile on their face when they jump and start dancing with you. And obviously this all boosted their self confidence a lot, and it gave them exposure on a different platforms, like corporate shows, music festivals, college festivals, performing in front of various age groups. So these were some of the performances that we did, and we got some great opportunities to be in front of some of the biggest people, who are the leaders in their own field. This is again a very very cool photo clicked at Antilia, where we were invited to play at Ambani's house, and we also started doing different collaborations. What it did was, it gave them a different kind of a platform to learn music in a different way, because when you collaborate with someone, it obviously pushes you in a different direction. It also sort of improves your creative quotient, and it taught them to think out of box, because music as a language has no barriers. So it really pushes you to sort of see music in a different way, right? This was again, amazing experience. One of my friend told me that, I'm going to call you band to Delhi for the first time, and I'm going to give you all the flight tickets and five-star hotel stay and everything. So I was really excited, and I told all the बच्चा लोग, like, भाई लोग अपने को मिलना है ऑफिस में, please आ जाओ सब लोग. I want to tell you a big news. So everyone got together, and I told them we are going to Delhi to perform, and everyone was so excited, and they were all whistling and shouting and everything in excitement. And they asked me, how are we going? So I told them we are going by the aeroplane, flight. And they were all disappointed, because they all thought, कि हमारे पास passport नहीं है, तो हम नहीं आ सकेंगे. So I told them the innocence that was, I told them if you have to come to Delhi, you don't need a passport. But this was the first ever flight experience back in 2013, I guess, where we all got to be on the flight for the first time. And it was so lovely to see these kids. We always, whenever we go to Delhi, we always visit the Dargah and we get blessings from there, Nizamuddin Dargah. It's very nice to be there and get these guys. And also performing at Antilia, where Mr. Sambani invited us to perform at, one of the most, what do you call, expensive houses in the world. Like imagine kids from poorest of the slums going to the most expensive house in the world, being in the same city in a area of say 15 kilometers. But it was so nice to perform over there in front of all the celebrities and everyone. So it was really nice. These are some of the collaborations which I told you earlier that we have done with Mr. Salman Khan and Mr. Amitabh Bachchan on different platforms like TED and Inc. With Mr. Shan. So it was really nice. This was again at the US Consulate where we played with the US Navy Band. This was again a really cool collaborations with 3 different artists. So these kids have got really, really good, exposure. And, I would say that after 9 years of determination, commitment, sweat and sacrifices, Dharavi Reloaded has become India's most loved junk percussion band. And kids have become much more confident in life and they're able to express themselves through music on a global platform. They act like community leaders where younger ones look up to them. They are being recognized in their community. They have become financially independent, which is very important because part of the amount what we do the shows, part of the amount goes to all the kids where they have the bank accounts, medical, and insurance, etc. So it really helps them to sort of support their family. They pay their own school fees, which is very important, and it has helped them to leave all their bad habits behind, which is very, very important because music has that power today, right? This is Dharavi Reloaded so far. I'm going to play you a small video in the end. But what I have learned from this entire journey is that teaching is the best gift, that you can give it to anyone. It's just amazing. Please do that. Opportunities are everywhere. You just have to sort of keep looking and grab them, right? I see life very differently now after hanging out with these amazing kids from Dharavi. And there is some immense joy of giving back to the society. Just to conclude my talk, I would like to sort of urge everyone to sort of, at least dedicate 2 to 3 hours a week on regularly towards community building or community service by focusing on teaching about dealing with real world problems and skill development, which is very, very important because education is very important and everyone has right to get it. And we can make it happen if we are all there together. This is again a favorite quote by my icon A.R. Rahman, that music is all about transforming people, speaking a language where languages fail to speak. And obviously, this dude, I service society by rocking. Yeah, that's what we do. I'm gonna play a small video about Dharavi. Yeah, and have a look at it, and I'm open to question and answers.
महाराष्ट्र के कोस्ट पर बसा है इंडियाज फाइनेंशियल हब मुंबई. It's known for containing many cities within itself. ये उनमें से एक ऐसी सिटी है जहां 10 लाख लोग रहते हैं. With an area of 400 acres, this is one of those biggest slums of Asia. 15,000 single-room factories operate daily to recreate lives, dreams, and happiness from the city's waste, all with a smile. So welcome to Dharavi, Recycling Central.
Dharavi Reloaded, which is a band of amazingly talented slum kids from Dharavi. And we create music on all the recycled material that is available in Dharavi. Just make music out of all that we have around and we'll not use any traditional instruments. So let's have like drum barrels, plastic cans, buckets, like probably empty bottles, put some rice or sand into it and make it sound like a shaker, and just use all the recycled material that we have. And then we started doing sure, can I get some talent out of them? Because I know they have it. It's there in everyone. You just have to guide them and shape them and just get it on the table and just present it.
बहुत बहुत बधाई आपको, बहुत अच्छा। थैंक यू सर। तुमको बहुत बहुत बधाई। थैंक यू सर। यहीं नहीं फ्लाइट में जाते थे ग्रुप फोटो ले लो। सिर्फ बच्चे।
I think these kids really represent the true spirit of Mumbai and India. So let's give a big round of applause for their positivity, for their spirit that continues to live within all of us in Mumbai.
I had heard about them, but I'd never seen them perform in person. When I was told how they go about what they do and the efforts that they put into it and how they use all the recyclable stuff, and to find so much motivation from literally nowhere is very inspiring. I see no excuses there. They are happy with what they have been given by God and they are making great use of it and they are inspiring so many people. So I totally love watching them perform.
These guys are super amazing.
Any particular message you want to give young musicians in India that, you know, I mean, your journey's been spectacular, so...
keep making music. I've just been given this card from this dude about the Arabi Rocks, and these kids...
Yes, Arabi, yeah, it's brilliant
these kids all make music on anything. So the thing that I would say is find anything to make music with. It doesn't have to be a guitar, it doesn't have to be a piano, it can be anything. Just make music and have fun with it.
Thank you so much, sir. Not just for the presentation, but actually showing us the video clips and the pictures of this talent who's hidden in the small lanes of Dharavi. I mean, they would have otherwise never been, they would have never gotten the recognition that they have today. We had like a lot of questions which just revolved around, can we see his work? And I think you've given us exactly that. And what do they do? So thank you so much for that. We have just one question for you. Performing arts is something that people still get a little dicey or skeptical about in pursuing full time, right? But then there's somebody like you who has immersed himself in this world of music and you're just bringing joy, happiness, hope to these children's lives. You've sort of added a flavor, a whole new flavor to their life. But how has music transformed you as a person over these years?
Oh my God, what a beautiful question. I mean, for me, to be honestly, if I can be, very honest about this, I wanted to teach them music so that I can also do music. I was working the corporate and I was really missing music at that time. but I wanted to teach them music and create a band so that I can also perform along with them. See, music has really changed me as a person over these years, and after performing 400, 500 shows across India and abroad, uh, uh, what I see is that it is such a wonderful tool which can bring all of them together, where people forget their egos, people forget their problems, people forget everything, and they just want to come and be in one. That is such a beautiful thing. And any kind of music, it can be anything, right from Bollywood to disco to EDM to jazz, anything. You just get lost into it while listening or watching or while performing. So it is the most powerful tool which can be used to tackle any kind of problems. And it has changed me as a person today. It has made me much more confident. It has given me a new life. It has given me my identity along with these amazing rock stars along my side. And it's just so cool. Music is just so cool.
That's a wonderful thought. Also, I'm pretty sure that the children that you've worked with are associated with you, sleep with the happiest hearts every single day, right? So
Absolutely.
how does that feel, and how do you really like being a musician or being a teacher? Like, what's the best role that you like to play?
I I I I don't call myself as the teacher at all. I just I call myself as a band member, or conducting the band and performing with them as part of the band. Yes, teaching is there. I'm just passing on the knowledge to them in whatever capacity I have, because teaching these kids is a different ball game altogether. So more than teaching is about hanging out with them and doing things in a very, very different way. So yeah, I would call myself as a band member.
That's such a beautiful thought. Thank you so much, sir. And
Thank you
we're
so
more than
much.
glad to that you could join us today and you could address our attendees and give us a beautiful afternoon with the videos and the pictures. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Quoting Anne Frank and Mother Teresa respectively, no one has ever become poor by giving. It is not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving. Our next change maker for the day is Mr. Chet Chen, founder of GoCrowdera.com, a crowdfunding platform which has been providing a space to raise funds for social causes. He has successful communities in Silicon Valley, and his way of doing things with passion, knit with kindness and compassion to fuel a greater cause, has made him a leader in his niche. With that, we would now like to play a short clip and highlight a few glimpses of his journey.
So my name is Chet Jen, and I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Crowdera. Crowdera is a fintech company that focuses on the philanthropy industry. And within the philanthropy space, we try to literally cover everything in a single value chain, right from fundraising, peer-to-peer, multi-tier models to corporate giving, and more primarily from a large enterprise level B2B standpoint, essentially, which means is if you're a charitable organization and you want to set up your own fundraising architecture, you can use our technology to do that. You can even launch a crowdfunding platform using Crowdera's fundraising tech. So that's brief about me. I've spent over a decade in Silicon Valley, and after that, been spending time between India and Singapore.
We welcome you, sir. And now I would like to hand over the platform to Mr. Chet Chen to address our attendees. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can I at least hear the hellos from everyone? And I mean, whoever can switch on their videos. I mean, let's make it interesting. And you can remove just stop presenting the screen. It's fine. Let's have it like a regular session that we can have. Fantastic. This makes fantastic sense. And who else? Abhijit, Sanskar, Divyanshu, Sharyu, Sagnik, everyone. I mean, if you guys can switch on, this is fantastic. I love to see people. It's all about you, right? Okay, fine. Screen is fine. Let's have it like a regular session. Okay, somebody needs to go on. And Abhijit, Saskar, Diganshu, shall you? No, somebody please go on mute because I'm able to hear and I'm able to hear my voice with a lot of delay. Are we all good? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible. We'll just fix the sound issue that you just mentioned, and we can.
Sure. Cool. So guys, hello and namaskar everyone, and to Symbiosis team as well. And thanks for the opportunity. I mean, it's always an honor to meet the student community because you are the future, you are the present, and we were the past. We were the students also at one point of a time. And I love the subject that you have picked up, right? I mean, I get called for strategy, I get called for bootstrapping, I get called for so many different subjects. I mean, but when we talk from an impact investment standpoint, I think this is a great opportunity for me to talk to you youngsters who could potentially become future impact investors. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to frame this conversation in a way where we'll talk it from all the angles of the impact world overall, not only from an investment standpoint, but from the fundraiser standpoint, also from who is this impacting and why, and what is the purpose of all of these things, right? So we'll come to that. So yeah, and as a quick introduction, I am Chet. I run a fintech company called Crowdera. I also run a crowdfunding platform called Go Crowdera, which is global and has presence in 150 plus countries. And as a fintech company, we help a lot of large organizations to launch their own crowdfunding platforms. And we have one of many of the large charities around the world running their own crowdfunding platforms on our technology. That's a little brief. And in personal capacity, I keep making some investments on and off. So that's brief about me. Spent over a decade in Silicon Valley, and since last 4 years, I've been spending time between India and Singapore and Southeast Asia because I see great future here. So that's all about me. Now I'll straight jump to the topic. Now I can see the team. I mean the students sitting there, and they all can hear me. I seriously want to ask one question. How many of you really, if given all the constraints are removed about money or whatever it is, how many of you really want to become an impact investor in future? You can just raise your hands. I can see you guys. Right. I don't see any hand being raised. All right. So do I have the right audience? Okay, I see one hand, I believe, from far. Anyways, we'll continue. So guys, before we start jumping into impact investments, I want to talk about, okay. Oh, all right. I guess there is a delay, and I think because of which this is happening. So I'll take a pause
Yes,
and then I'll continue.
actually, there's like a small issue with the network.
Lag.
So your message, yeah, there's a lag, and then they can hear you, but it's a little late. So you will get the reactions, but they'll be a little late from their side. So that's just a point that we wanted to convey to you. Yeah,
That's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. So what we're going to do today is let's talk about what is happening around the world. So United Nations has really tried to make an effort to unify the world in terms of thinking about the impact. And that's when 2015, 2016, they came up with the Sustainable Development Goals for the world. I mean, of course, UN has been doing it. We had global goals and we had millennial goals. There were many goals. And I think our USDG, there would be SDGs have really shaped up the world in terms of unified the processes. And I think there is a lot that is coming around from all different parts of the world, Southeast Asia to Africa, of course, the Western world too, and India as well. So we should know, I mean, the first thing that you all should know in the impact investment journey is what is that exactly impact investment means. So the first thing that we need to understand, what are different causes that are affecting the world? I mean, how many of you know that slave trade was one of the biggest thing in 2000 and in I think early 1800s? I think all of us know. I'll assume because I can't see everyone, so I'll just assume that everybody's saying yes. But you guys don't know today. Even today, in today's age and time, there are over 27 million plus people around the world in the slave trade. being used as slaves still in the modern day world. You go into the mining industry in Africa and all different places, you would not even realize these people are working for free all their life. They get birth and they die, trying to pay off the debt that somebody of their uncle or somebody has taken. There are many such stories. And slave trade, the slave industry is not only about human trafficking and sex trafficking, but it's also about the labor industry, and it is humongous. It is way too more than what it used to happen during the 1800s when the Brits used to take Indians and Africans and wherever mostly the Africans, and do the slave trade. So that is one cause, right? And people are not aware of such causes. So making them aware is very important. The first thing first is to find what's your calling, what's the purpose. And SDGs have done a great job, and all the 17 sustainable development goals that SDGs have defined are very clearly defined. So there is one way of looking at those SDGs is, oh, wow, we're talking about poverty. My heart goes for that. Hunger, yes, I understand. And up to partnerships, like the last goal, 17, it's for partnerships. So to help any of these 16 goals, how can partner with people and help them? But that being said, there is another perspective of it. Now I wear an entrepreneur's hat and I look at it, right? I look at poverty. So I can think about, can I figure out to build low-cost housing, which is very cheap? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm actually getting into the construction business, real estate business here, right? I look at hunger. I can think about the food business here. So there are ways of looking at the causes. And if you put an entrepreneur's hat, you look at it from a business angle also. So if you combine the cause and combine the business side of it, we are talking about an opportunity to make money while making an impact. Right? And that is all about impact investment. And besides that, there are different shapes and forms on how we do this thing, and impact investment can be shaped. So before we dive deeper into all the methods of impact investing, I would like to talk about the purpose. Why? I'm assuming I'm just visualizing all of you raising your hands here. There would be a delay by the time they hear this, but a lot of you know triple bottom line. If you're getting into this subject, everyone knows about triple bottom line. And triple bottom line essentially talks about people, planet, profits, right? And it's your choice. You can put the sequence. You can say, I'm a capitalist, so I want to put profit first. Then I'll think about people. Then I'll think about planet. But I want to have all the three. So somewhere my brand value of my organization goes well from an entrepreneur standpoint. Can we think about it from quadruple bottom line perspective? So I've been a strong proponent of quadruple bottom line. Why triple bottom line? Profit remains profit, right? You can keep profit and you can change the sequence of the rest of the piece, but there is another P that you can add, that is purpose. So if you change the sequence and if you can put the purpose at the first, like what is my purpose? What is my massively transformational purpose of my life? Right? For example, I'll give my example. My purpose is not very deep, right? It is very broad. My purpose is to build companies and content that can transform life on this planet humongously, right? I have not mentioned that I want to build one company, I want to build a film, I want to do this. No, I have not mentioned any of these things. Those could be my goals. So first, as an individual, all of you, and this is a perfect age, like undergrad, right? This is where everything is shaping up. You know, how do I find my massively transformational purpose? And what is my first goal in that massively transformational purpose? And then you can come up with a strategy and all of that. So if you know the purpose, and then you can find goals. Those goals could be your entrepreneurial goals. I'll assume here, for benefit of this forum, is that we will talk about entrepreneurial goals here. So let's say you got your purpose, massively transformational purpose, and you got your entrepreneurial goal or investment goal or whatever you want to do here, right? And that is when your actual journey begins. So that's when you can start thinking about, hey, my purpose is identified. Now I want to make profits. I want to be a capitalist. And I think, I personally feel socialism is great, but without capitalism, the world may not survive. So you need to have a socialist capitalist mindset where there is a combination of things. capitalism leading socialism kind of a thing. Excuse me. So when we say this thing, this is where you need to define your quadruple bottom line thought process. You figure out your purpose, you got your profit, and when you say profit, that is your business model, how you want to do this, and we'll again not dive deeper into the entrepreneurial journey because we are talking from an impact investment standpoint, but we'll look at it from that perspective. But you got your profit piece in place, then comes your how you want to impact people and the planet, right? And this would essentially come into your business model. How can you take a business model and transform into something else? So let me give an example. I ran an accelerator program. Where we used to help a bunch of startups. Either we invest or we help them grow, mostly the early stage startups. And the idea was, these are people who are not necessarily standing out. They don't have a Stanford, Columbia, or IIT, IIM kind of a pedigree. But these are the odd alphas, right? These are the alphas who missed out an opportunity. They were in an accelerator program and they were missed out. So we used to pick these people. They have an opportunity. They have something in them. They might take up. But the challenge is they really do not know how, or probably they are way too early for solving that problem, or they need maybe that their business model needs maybe 2 years to survive, not like regular thing. Our method of selecting them primarily was to find out in the business model, is there any impact in that place? What is the commitment they are trying to do? So we simply made a very simple formula. You tweak your business model so you touch any of the sustainable development goals. So if your business model is about creating, solar panels and sell the solar panels and put some IoT in that, and you come up with a clean energy idea. My question to you would be, of course, you're talking about climate. So that's one you have already spoken. Are you also connecting any other sustainable development goals? So maybe, hey, all the people who are going to deploy those panels would be sourced from lower strata of society, underprivileged people. They would be trained. So you got skilling, education has come in, and then you give them employment. So, so you're touching multiple sustainable development goals. So now the business model remained the same. But the moment they put skilling and rest of the things, the cost is also coming down. Profitability is going up and impact is also coming. So if that piece is there into the model, we would select that. Second piece, we mentioned that you have to, from day one, you have to commit X percentage of your equity to a certain company, a certain charity, or a certain cause that you want. And that cause could be your own purpose, whatever you have. With these two simple things, we simply created that model, and we were able to help like 40-odd companies after that. That thing. So it was like, there was a company, profitable company working for profit, and they connected their business model to a cause. With this, I felt this is a fantastic social impact opportunity for us to invest as an impact investor. Although whether we invested a big amount of money or a small amount of money, it didn't matter. What mattered was, yes, we are helping these organizations. So as an impact investor, the first thought process in a mind was the influence that we had was to transform this thing into a different way, where they started thinking about making an impact also simultaneously, right, within the same business model. So you get the quadruple bottom line, you put your quadruple bottom line method, connect it with UNSDGs, put it onto the business model, and here is your recipe. Ultimately, business is going to be business. You will have to talk about how you're going to make the profits, right? And once you have that, I think things are going to be very simple, because impact is not only about what you feel, what you want to do, but impact is also about your credibility in the market, your brand value in the market. It's like a free marketing thing that you're trying to do. You don't have to spend a lot of money in terms of getting goodwill in the market if your model itself has it. So that's from an entrepreneurial angle. An investor angle, investor looks at it, hey, my money is of course going in. There is a humongous risk. We know that out of 100 investments that you do, you potentially fetch results only into like 7, 8, 9, 10 max, or maybe less. But then, if you have invested into all 100 who are trying to make an impact, even if they don't make it big, you have made some mark. Of course, as your investment thesis, you'll make the money from the 7, 8, 10, whatever else you'll make. So that's the mindset that an impact investor has. So with this, let us jump to another point. which we'll talk about what are the methods of impact investment, right? Let's talk the most simplest way. And when I talk about investment, I'll not put it into whether it is a security or non-security. It could be a simple donation, right? It's also philanthropic capital that you are investing as an investor, right? It could be a philanthropic capital that you want to put in, and in that philanthropic capital, it could be a small donation of $100, or it could be $500,000. It doesn't matter. But it could be a grant, it could be a donation. But that's a philanthropic capital investment that we have. Then there comes a regular investment. That regular investment essentially is about all about the securities investment. Guys, if you don't mind, I would like to have maybe a couple of you on screen. So actually that makes it interactive. I hate talking to the board. So good. So when we talk about the securities-based investment, there are multiple ways of investing. You got angels, you got venture capitalists, you got PE funds, and then there is public things also, public methods also, like going IPO. And very interestingly, there is a social stock exchanges coming up all over the world. So there are multiple ways of investing. So my approach today is to see how I can help you all to chalk out a plan for your life you want to become an impact investor or become an impact entrepreneur right here. So let's talk about all these areas in one. We discussed about donations. Angels is where you have a little money, surplus money that you want to contribute. And of course, you all at this stage are not there. You haven't made money yet, for your own money, I mean. You are still figuring it out. Maybe one of you is a Zuckerberg sitting somewhere. I don't know. If you are there, I'm saying hi. Yeah, so there is this angel investment piece as well. Second is venture capital. There is a lot of money. Somebody else's money you are sitting. VC is not somebody who is using their own money. A venture is actually playing with somebody else's money. It's like a fund manager who's taking money from a bunch of rich people and trying to give it to a bunch of poor people. I mean, poor entrepreneurs. Private equity is more when entrepreneur takes the money out and capitalist investors take some piece out of it. You all know how the public works. Let me try and bring all of these down into a very single terminology that I think everyone is familiar with in today's age and time. Where does impact investment or impact fundraising connect very well? So crowdfunding is a method in today's age and time where you can combine all these areas in a very fantastic way. And when I say very fantastic way, essentially is, although impact investment is becoming famous, but trust me, like an organization wanting to really make an impact and has a business model, but there are 90 other organizations who are just trying to show that they are making an impact, but there is no real intent behind it. So finding the difference between the fluff and the core, the real, is big trouble for us, as an impact investor. I mean, us in the sense, anyone who is trying to make an impact investment, even for you when you want to get that. So how, as an entrepreneur, when you are trying to fundraise or talking to investors, how would you differentiate yourself from that? And I think this is where crowdfunding plays a big role. So crowdfunding gives you an opportunity to showcase what you have. You can actually showcase your proof of success without essentially asking people to invest too much. For example, you are building a healthcare device that is going to detect, cancer at early stage, and this does not require a humongous amount of investment, right? It is a small device that you have come up with, and you're going to do that. You can go to people who are survivors or family of, people who are either deceased or survived cancer, and now there is an audience who understand the pain, and you are testing it with them. They may not necessarily have a humongous amount of money. They may want to either donate to you for your purpose, or they may want to invest in you. It could be a smaller amount. It could be a 10,000 rupees. It could be a $10,000. Doesn't matter. But there is an opportunity for you to kind of connect with the real audience and show the proof. This is where the first stage is to get the proof of success, get validation from people. And this is what crowdfunding is the only way you can do this thing. You do this, the next stage is when you graduate to an angel fund, for example. Now you already show that, hey, we connected with X number of people for this particular cause. They connected with us. Our business model is this. You have your KPIs in place. You go to the angel investors. It could be an angel fund or a group where the ticket size just slightly increases. It could be $1 million that you want to raise, or $500,000, or even $100,000 that you want to raise. The method would exactly remain the same, but you already have the proof of success. You mentioned to them, this is what has happened. And on the other side, as the angels see, oh yes, they're talking about the cause, they're connected with the cause, there is a business model to it, I'm aligned, right? It's very simple for them. This next level of graduation that you have is going to a venture capital fund to raise a larger amount of money for your growth, right? And the next transition is either going public or going to private equity, technically an exit. So this is a very, gradual, this is a graduation of an investor and an entrepreneur, both from fundraising or investing standpoint. Now, in this piece, I am not going to dive deeper into the regulations and all of that. I mean, there is a lot. How does the equity crowdfunding work? How does the donation crowdfunding work? What all goes into this spaces? I'm not going to dive deeper into that. I'm happy to kind of maybe do another session some other time because that's itself is a humongous topic. But what I'm going to focus on right now is about what is the way, if you want to become an impact investor or an impact entrepreneur, what is the journey that you should do? I think the key takeaway from this session should be you should have a roadmap, at least a brief roadmap that you can think about and go to a mentor and say, hey, is this the right roadmap? So that's what I'm going to tell right now. So what I feel is the first thing that you guys should do is, of course, find your purpose. And there is a beautiful course by Steve Kotler. It's called Habit of Ferocity. Very good for youngsters at this age. You can take it on Mindvalley. If it is too expensive to buy, I'm happy to kind of later stage somewhere whenever we have time to do a small session on understanding how to find your massively transformational purpose and how to break it down into goals, etc., etc. It's a very simple method, but find your purpose, find your calling, whatever you have inside you. And once you have that, your journey is very simple. It's like following 1, 2, 3 steps. First, volunteer to raise money for any of the cause that whatever your purpose is. Now you know the purpose. Find out who are playing into that space, right? First stage is to volunteer with that kind of an organization to do the fundraising for them. So volunteering as a fundraiser for that particular cause. One. That's your stage number one. Second stage, as you graduate from volunteering, you work as an intern. So you get paid for the work that you're going to do. Again, you do the same thing. You essentially intern with such organization that is raising money, or you could intern with an organization like ours, or there are many others. Could be an investment firm, could be a crowdfunding platform, or it could be a fintech company, or whatever it is. So intern wherever you will get more exposure to that thing. The third stage that you jump into, you join either an angel fund or, for example, Axion is one. You've got Omidyar Capital is one. There are many other ones. So you join those organizations as an analyst or a junior analyst or associate, whatever it is. You join such firms where you get exposure to more, where you're evaluating more and more deals. And the last stage with all of these things is you already got the fundraising in these spaces. Then you have a choice to make. You either become an investor. You have enough experience. You can go to rich people and say, "Hey, I got investor. I got enough, experience. Now I want to invest. I want to launch my own investment firm." Or you already have a million ideas. You already know the investors. Now you're like, "I'm going to launch my own." So this would be a very simple roadmap. Of course, it's not as simple as it sounds, but if your purpose is very clear, then it will become simple. So with that, I wanted to wrap up whatever I wanted to share with you guys in a very simple method. What we discussed about the sustainable development goals. You should know what sustainable development goals are. Second, we discussed about investment philosophy. I mean, investment is all about impact investment philosophy. Impact investment is all about one, investment is all about profits, and impact investment is connecting your business model to your some impact goal that you have in mind. How you do that? Third thing was quadruple bottom line that we discussed. Purpose, profit, people, planet. You can put your own sequence to it. We discussed about methods of investing or fundraising, donations, angels, VC funds, private equity funds, or going public or social stock exchanges. Same channels for either fundraising or investment. Then we discussed in detail about, in brief about crowdfunding as a channel to get validation, getting proof of success. And we discussed about the donation base, whether it is simple people, regular people who are connected to the cause or the HNIs. In the donation side, on the equity side, it could be, again, regular people who are angel investors or the funds. So in the same model on the equity side. And then we discussed about the roadmap for you to become either an impact investor or an impact entrepreneur. All right. So I tried to keep it as precise as possible because this is a humongously wide, broad topic. And just to get these right pointers in place was like a big challenge in my mind. How do I kind of try to show to undergrads what to do on this one? Because this is not you discuss at this stage. Generally, I would be having this chat with maybe the Hull School or the Santa Clara School or a Stanford, where people have already worked for a few years, then they're going to MBA, and then they're talking about this. So I'm glad you had an experience or you have an opportunity to listen about these things now. So that's all in mind. I'm open to questions. So if there are any questions, I am happy to address questions either directly to Team Symfinity or students, whichever way, and to the faculty as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I think it is a very different sort of a space that we got to know about. And like you said, you try to keep it as concise as possible. And I think that the overview itself was so good that we got a glimpse of how it works. What we did was basically get a few questions already from the students. And we do have a question for you, which says, when we first come across, when we first came across Go Crowdera, we were intrigued by what a free crowdfunding platform works like. And that took them and took us also to the website itself, right? And as complex as the process might get otherwise, we were surprised to see how creating a campaign, choosing a cause, the area was pretty user-friendly. So from your side, for the listeners today, can you throw some light on building a platform of that sort?
So see, it is a journey. Of course, the first version of Crowdera that you might have seen, the Go Crowdera that you have seen, may not be exactly like this. Although this is, so my journey is like this. I've been a Silicon Valley guy, capitalist mindset always. Accidentally came across somebody who influenced me to get into the impact journey. I dropped a capitalist idea for an impact idea while still working in Silicon Valley and living the dream life that people want or ask for. And with that, when I experienced that, it was the first one company that we built was practically shut down. We built a company on education fundraising. It was a P2P loan-based thing. We were early for the market. And then we suddenly realized one of the giants starts a similar company and they are our only payment gateway. And they shut us down because they say that we are too risky. A non-American citizen, an immigrant trying to start something like this, it's a challenge. And they shut us down that you're too risky to run on our payment gateway. And we are like, yeah, maybe. What do we do? We had to pivot. And that's when we got to crowdfunding. And when we got to crowdfunding, I acquired another company. So I acquired this company from New Jersey, which was doing education crowdfunding, just like Indiegogo or Kickstarter. Although we did that, somewhere in my heart, I was like, hey, what is the difference between us and them? They are still charging 5% commission. They are doing creative and other work. We are doing charity and we are still charging that. And there were experiences when we were talking to the charities and when they were telling that, hey, your 5% commission could have changed X number of lives if you had not taken that. So somewhere in my heart, it was not very clear and right. I was like, hey, something is wrong for sure here. We have to figure out the right way. And, interestingly, as, Almighty would give an opportunity that we were able to sell the company. We sold the tech IP and I was free. And I was like, this time I don't want to run it like a startup. Let me build something which is philanthropic in nature. purely philanthropic. So Go Crowdera essentially started like a philanthropic platform that was world's first truly free platform from Silicon Valley. And the purpose of this platform was to ensure that no charity will ever have to pay a dime in commissions or tips from the donors when they are raising money simply for hosting, right? And that purpose still remains. So we were the first one to launch that, and we were the first one in India to bring all different forms of crowdfunding, free crowdfunding, of course, right from rewards to everything else. And it was never a startup. It was always an initiative started by me on a philanthropic journey, and it was a promise that it will continue to run till I am alive or one of my holding companies is alive on this one. So that would remain. So for the purpose of this was very simply building a free crowdfunding platform and keep learning from the customers, because there was no urge for making revenue or survival because I was feeding it. There was no dilution into the process. It was always about just continuing that journey. So please understand, when you're jumping into your entrepreneurial journey, you don't necessarily need to, you need to ensure one thing: your survival is not at stake, or your needs are very minimal. Because if your survival is at stake, you will be desperate to kind of make money or do whatever it is. So that is the core way of looking at it. So the simple way is, in today's age and time, everything is no code. And if any of you young entrepreneurs ever want to launch a crowdfunding platform, come to us. We'll be happy to help you launch a crowdfunding platform without writing a single line of code and without making a single dollar of investment. Anyway, second question. I hope that answers your question. Sorry, I didn't get your name, lady.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I didn't get your name.
Gautami Rane, sir.
Gautami. So yeah, Gautami, please let me know the next question.
My second question to you was, I'm sure there must have been quite a few instances along the way. I mean, you've had an incredible journey. So there must have been instances where you feel that Go Crowdera was the best decision of your life. So can you share one such experience?
All right. So yeah, this is a very interesting, very, very interesting, a very emotional question. And I think alert here, because what I'm going to share is very horrendous. But I think I should share this thing. So it was before, just when we just launched Crowdera, Go Crowdera, the first version of it, and we were talking to somebody from our previous startup, fundraising startup, where we were taking commissions for education. So there was a lady, very well-known lady, who was raising money for solar lamps so that girls from Haiti, after the earthquake, could study in the night, because during the day they have to work on the fields, and in the night they actually would work. They would study under those lamps. And the purpose was set education, because we would not support anything else other than education. After this thing was done, we used to take commissions. And when we launched Crowdera as a free crowdfunding platform, and we had the conversation with them, so the conversation went like, when she came and told us one thing, that, hey, we lied to you when we were operating on your previous platform. And the lie was that we were not raising money for education. The money that we were raising was for something else. And we were like taken aback. Wow, that's against the policies, but yeah, let me know, because that was done. She said, after the earthquake, when these girls who live in the hut, in the day, they go for work. They work all day throughout. And in the night, when they are done with their field work, when they come back to their huts, it is pitch dark. Nobody can see anything. And the horrendous things used to happen between their journey from the field to the hut is men from their community or any other community would pick them up, rape them, leave them alone. They had no choice to just get up, walk back to their huts. And the lamps that they crowdfunded on a platform were saving the lives of these girls from getting raped. And that was the thing. And the question that, the point that she made, that the 5% commission that you kept during that last period could have helped us make X number of more women, girls would have been saved. We feel so bad, pathetic about our commissions, but at the same time, we were so and I think, that was the moment where we felt that this is the thing that we are trying.
I think this thing is a very, I mean, it's a lot of, yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, can you see me and am I audible? Yeah, so I think it's a very,
I didn't know there was.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So thank you so much for the answers. I mean, this was a very sort of mixed feelings when you feel happy about things, but then you also feel very sad about what they've been through. So I think that we have a few questions, but due to the reason that we're a little short on time, we might just send them across to you, and you can answer them personally, and then we can just open it up for the next speaker for the day, if that is fine with you, sir. So I think there's a network issue on your side.
I was not able to hear you. But anyway, as a wrapper, what I would like to leave with is anything that I could do for you guys in terms of creating volunteering and intern opportunities for the youngsters and the grads. Do write to me, and I'll be happy to create some opportunities within either our company or one of our portfolio companies. And thank you for having me, guys. You guys have a wonderful life and wonderful day.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us today. I'm sure the attendees took a lot, and thank you so much, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you. As rightly said by John Kennedy, one person can make a difference and everyone should try. Our next change maker for the day is Kunjpreet Arora ma'am, who is at the forefront of sustainability in infrastructure and is doing her part in contributing in this field. As the co-founder of Angeris India, her eco-friendly tech solutions have incorporated sustainability with the state-of-art infrastructure in a rapidly modernizing world. Her fields of expertise as an entrepreneur include construction industry, business development, growth strategies, and relationships working. Join us as we pave our way with her journey as a social change maker. We would like to present a short video of her work, which we cannot really fit in our words.
We were very curious students, engineering students, and so this all started in the laboratory itself. We had an idea to test, like we know the problem of waste industry, and being Jaipur native, we know there's a huge problem of marble slurry. So we thought, okay, let's try this marble slurry waste with plastic waste because it's a global problem. Million rupees industry. But do you know that this brick industry is also one of the largest source of air pollution, which consumes huge amount of natural resources, that is 350 million tons of soil, 25 tons of coal, and million tons of water every year.
We welcome you, ma'am, and now I would like to hand over the platform to Kunjpreet Arora ma'am to address the attendees. Thank you.
Welcome, Kunjpreet.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Shari, for having me. It was lovely being here, and it was really nice video that you all made. It's a surprise for me as well, I guess. So I just want to share a quick presentation, and then I would love to take it more into the Q&A and addressing your question about the sustainability in the infrastructure and construction industry. So yeah. Okay, I'll just share this screen. Just a second, just sharing the screen. I think there is some issue in sharing the screen right now.
Divyanshu, can you look into it? If we have the PowerPoint, we can also share it from our side.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, can we do it on your behalf? Can we do it from our side?
I'll just check one more time if it's opening or not. Okay. It's opening, yeah, thing now.
Ma'am, if you're facing an issue, we can ask the tech team to present it on your behalf, ma'am.
Yeah, I think that would be better. It's taking long.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. We'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you able to do it, Kunjpreet?
No, I think the team there is sharing the screen.
Okay, then that's fine.
The co-founder of Angra Scienti Private Limited, and we have developed a lightweight, damp-proof, and 100% recycled bricks, which is made entirely from the recycled waste material like plastic waste or other industrial waste material. But the main motive behind this whole idea, the concept, is to solve the two major issues that I will show on the next slide. Next slide. Yeah, as we all know that today India is also one of the largest source of waste generating country, where it generates a lot of million tons of plastic waste. And also there is one other waste that we are not all of are not aware of, is of the construction and demolition waste. Because I come from this industry, so I work closely with in this segment, so I know that this is also one of the major waste that our country produce. But it just ends up either in the dump site, empty plots, or on the roadside uh, that we might have seen around. But also the other problem that we are targeting to solve is the next slide, is of the brick industry. Today, the Indian brick industry is one of the largest brick manufacturing globally, but it is also the second largest polluting industry in India. It is one of uh, 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 the industry that contributes to the GDP, but it also contributes on only just 0.2%. It consumes million tons of natural resources like fertile soil, coal, and water. And given the today's scenario of water crisis and coal even for generating electricity, this brings a huge question mark to our brick industry, where India would require around 25 million more houses. And on the other side, the central government, the CW, and NGT is trying to shut down these brick kilns. So here we have developed an innovative and sustainable technology, which is on the next slide. So our idea is to bring this waste material that just end up into water bodies or landfill sites, and through our innovative process, eco-friendly and sustainable process, we have developed bricks and also the paver blocks that is even much more better compared to the existing bricks. It has been all tested on the primary test results given in the Indian standard codes, and also have got it validated by the government accredited enable laboratory, where bricks has given the compressive strength of 10 megapascal, which is actually equivalent to the class A brick, and water absorption below 5%. But what does it mean? It means that, on the next slide, so it means that it is actually 40% stronger. You can also play the GIF there. It is 80% waterproof, and it is also 30% lighter in weight. So these all are the benefits that we actually provide better, adding to its being its eco-friendly and sustainability, but also these other benefits that lower down the cost from the customer end of side, and also it makes the structure more durable, and also adds other benefits like being waterproof and other properties. Next slide. So if we compare, so you might be thinking like, why bricks and how is it better than the other bricks? They are more kind of bricks. So if we compare our bricks with these other bricks, we see that it is 80% damp proof. It weighs around 1 kg lighter in weight. But also one of the major criteria, important factor, is that it just takes 1 day through our innovative and autonomous technology, that we are able to deliver the bricks at your construction site just within a day. And yes, it is also recyclable. So no other brick is recyclable, and it is recyclable after when you want to demolish your building after 50 to 60 years, you can send these your demolition waste to our plant, and we can recycle it again. And also these whole benefits comes under the same price that you pay to these unsustainable clay brick. And through these benefits, the overall brickwork cost also gets reduced by up to 20% from the consumer point of sight. Next slide. So if we see what's the impact is for every 100 bricks you, yes, of course you saves the cost, but also you also recycle. For a society, you recycle around 230 kg of waste, and for an environment you help in reducing 10 kg of carbon emission, because one clay brick is responsible for release of 100 gram of CO2 without using any natural resources like water, coal, or fertile soil. Yeah, next slide. So this is some of the recognition of bricks. It has been recognized on the national and international platforms like US Embassy, Climate Collective, ASME, and also been featured on the national newspaper like the New Indian Express and the City Basket. And recently we have also won several competitions on the global platform, which is like Asia Pacific Forum, organized by Switch Asia and Habitat for Humanity. Next slide. Yeah, this is the team. We have been supported by the Kolkata Venture Center and Brigade, which is one of the largest real estate developer based in Bangalore. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. That's all from my side, from what I am and what we do at Ankiras, and yeah, I'm open for the Q&A. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the presentation. We have questions for you. The first question being, as your product is upcycled brick revolves around infusing innovation and putting forward a sustainable alternative to the traditional means, what would you recommend to the budding entrepreneurs, specifically in correlation to being innovative and solving bigger problems?
So basically, before I answer this question, I want to share a small story about myself and how I started with the brick. So I come from the South Rajasthan, which is a city called Udaipur, and it is also called as a lake city of India. But growing up seeing those lakes getting destroyed by one of the industrial waste, like which is the marble waste, and 80% of the marble waste comes from the Rajasthan, especially in the South Rajasthan. And I have seen that one of the lakes got totally destroyed. There is huge what do we say, ice park, which is not ice but a marble slurry. It's a white color slurry, and celebrities and a lot of wedding shoots is being done, but it is actually eventually destroying the biodiversity, destroying the lakes, because of it passes through the underground and goes to the rivers and lakes. And that's what motivated us to start this. If we can bring a solution of using those marble slurry and consuming and creating a circular economy, going through the several round of pivoting, research and development. So that's what motivated us to start this project. And we also know that plastic waste is also one of the major problem globally, in fact. So we thought, okay, as a civil engineer, we just could build bricks and paver blocks. Okay, let's start with this, because we know like how these products work and we have a basic knowledge and background. So, but yeah, but the idea behind of this story is this, that I also want to tell you, or these students are the audience, that you can also start with identifying these small are the bigger problems. But yeah, definitely start with the small problem and expanding to the bigger problem. And if you're passionate about the environment, sustainability, I think you can start with any other problem. And India is a like huge country with a lot of problems in India as well. So yeah, so waste and the air pollution is one of the problem that we can bring as some sustainable solution. But yeah, you can definitely identify and work in your society, in your environment, and see what problem that you can solve and start with.
Thank you so much. I think every journey has that one trigger point. All of us do, but very few take that first step. And you did, which is like a very impressive thing and something that we sincerely appreciate. The second question to you is, what are your thoughts on long-term viability of infusing sustainability with infrastructure on a large scale? And on the similar lines, where do you see India in the next 10 years when it comes to sustainable development?
So right now, it's a lot of innovation and policies, regulatories are being introduced by the government side as well. There are two departments of the introduced by the government who works on the infrastructure, sustainability, green buildings to monitor that there is no be developed, but under the sustainability. We doesn't mean that the development has to be come with the price that we harm our environment, harm our society, or the biodiversity, or the lakes, or anything like that. But yeah, I think that in next 10 years we can definitely not immediately, but we can definitely in a long term see the changes that people like private players also being more aware about that they should not harm the environment but also develop under the sustainability and achieving those sustainable goals as well. And there are a lot of what we say incentives are also being provided by the government to encourage these private players and companies, MSMEs to develop but under the within the sustainability.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was a wonderful session. And I'm pretty sure you've been able to connect with the audience and they'll surely take that first step. With that, I think we've come. Thank you so much. With that, we've come to the end of day one of Symfinity, Entrepreneurs Enabling Change, National Changemakers Conclave 2022. With a speaker panel so diverse and distinguished, I'm sure the listeners have gained so much to ponder upon and take back home. Thank you once again. And before the final vote of thanks, I would like to announce something for the attendees. The process for availing the certificate for this Symfinity Entrepreneurs Enabling Change session that we're having, which is a 2-day session, will be conveyed tomorrow. So we would love for you all to join in tomorrow, and then that is how you get to avail the certificates. Thank you so much. With that, I would like to hand over the platform to Trapti Sharma ma'am. Thank you. Okay. On behalf of the Symbiosis College of Arts and Commerce, I, Mrs. Tripti Sharma, Assistant Professor Commerce, would like to propose the vote of thanks for the first day of Symfinity, the National Changemakers Conclave. I share my sincere gratitude towards all our speakers for taking out time from their busy schedules and accepting to be a part of this conclave. This has been a wonderful program, a wonderful experience for the students with a lot of learnings for students as well as all attendees. And this would have been impossible without our dear guests. The first one we had Mr. Shishir Thakur, the co-founder and CTO of Cranberry Analytics. The way you realize the problem government policy and procedures have and put your efforts to implement your solutions was absolutely amazing. A 92% reduction in water theft, as you told us, is a commendable achievement you've had. Your double victory of reduction in consumption consumption of water while there was an increase of population is absolutely amazing. I'm sure the students have learned a lot from your story and they will try to find out solutions to more problems. Next, Mr. Abhijit Jejurikar, the founder of Dharavi Reloaded. Your story of becoming a musician from a band to Indian classical to Western African music is really inspiring. And moreover, Dharavi Reloaded is really a great platform by which you've helped communities coming together and the noble thought of teaching music to those who don't have money to pay for tuitions and coachings and all. And then using waste to create music is really amazing. I'm sure our students can learn a lot from you and your contribution towards the society as a whole. Next, Mr. Shet Jain, CEO and founder of Crowdera. The way you've linked about making money and making an impact, I'm sure the entrepreneur soul in our students have gained a lot from you. I'm certain our students were able to learn about crowdfunding, venture capitalism, and how to grab an opportunity as an entrepreneur to showcase what you have.
I'm sure the students have had amazing takeaways from you, sir. And last but not the least, of course, Ms. Kunjpreet Arora, a young co-founder of Argus in Bricks. Your idea of recycling waste, not just for saving out on costs, but also for creating sustainable bricks, is extremely innovative and has had a great impact on the environment. And you know, the way you shared your story, identifying a problem, and then finding out a solution to it, I'm sure the students will brainstorm a lot of problems India has, as you said, and try to find out solutions to those problems. I would also like to thank RUSA, Rashtriya Uchchatar Shikshan Abhiyan 2.0, for funding this entire national conclave. Also, I would like to extend my gratitude towards our ever-encouraging principal, Dr. Rishikesh Soman, our supportive vice principal, Dr. Tessie Taratil, our efficient IQAC coordinator, Dr. Anil Alagle, registrar, Mrs. Gandali Parulekar, and our IT team, Mr. Nitin and Mr. Nazir. Thanking the entire team of Innovations Institution Council for execution for the first day of Conclave and all our faculty members. Also thanking our kakas for their helping hands ever. A big thank you to the backbone of the program, our student volunteers. Atharva Tirke, Varun Deshpande, Divyanshu, Anushka Pawar, Nidhi Singh, Sanskar Agarwal, Krishnanand Shenoy, Manu Mohan, Anmol Singh, Sagnik Karamkar, and the entire Symfinity student team. And of course, thanks a lot to our attendees for being an amazing audience. I hereby declare the end of session. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.